Good now, revolutionaries, and welcome to Rise Up After Dark.
Hey, congrats on saying After Dark.
Man, thank you so much. I am going to go ahead and give myself a preemptive point for that. I think I deserve it. It is important to get the title of the show right, especially when sometimes you don't. If you're just seeing us for the first time or hearing our voices in your ears for the very first time, then hello, welcome to our show. This is a fun little weekly get-together we have where we let our hair down, we do our own research, DYOR, BYOB, and answer your crypto questions. If you're trying to understand what cryptocurrency actually is and why it might matter, and you want to have a little bit of fun along the way because we're like talking about tech, then tune in. We're here every Wednesday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. And tonight, Will and I are joined by an esteemed guest. I won't waste any more time. I'd like to pass it over to you, Will, to introduce for the audience who gets to join us tonight.
This is my girlfriend, Violet.
Hello.
Many of you have heard about her for, God, I think, how long have we been doing this together now, Evan? Has it been almost a year?
Almost a year.
Almost a year.
And people who've been following you have known about her longer than that?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, for everyone who's been following me on my old profile page, you've been hearing about or seeing Violet for a long, long time. So we got her on the show tonight, and we say that we met each other at a loveless place, which if you're in Boston, it is the rooftop of Envoy, which is a soulless place with bad drinks, but a really nice view, and everything's incredibly expensive, and people just want to be there to look cool amongst all the finance bros and seaport girlies who just wish that they were in Los Angeles. And we found each other, blacked out, and then I saw her at the next bar we all went to, and she was eating an entire plate of Grande's nachos alone with her just in the corner.
Just shoving
and
in my face.
And I saw that, and I was like, that one, her, right there.
That was that.
I like that moxie. But yeah, we've been together for 3 years. She's a little bit about Violet. She's a great artist, very artistically talented.
Oh, thank you.
She's also a goofy goober. This house is full of ridiculous noises 24/7 from both her and myself. And, you know, we have zero shame about it.
Yeah. No. I'm glad to finally be on here.
And then she deals with me. Oh, and she's a real, homie because she films me even when I wear a ridiculous dolphin costume. And I just walk out of a door wearing something stupid and I go, baby, I need your help.
The dolphin video, the goodbye dolphin video, that was me. That was all me.
And she didn't bat an eye. She didn't bat an eye once. She just went, all right, how do you want it?
And Violet, when you're not spending your time doing those things, what else do you do?
Well, I like to work out. I work in cybersecurity. Sometimes I crochet, paint, do different arts and crafts. I enjoy reading, and I do make TikToks.
You definitely make TikToks, and I'll take this minute to share with our audience that your handle is ultra_Violet SSS.
Yes.
Violet.
Yeah, give me a follow. I do mostly Boston content with like food reviews and reviews of other things that are always honest.
And I gotta say, we're now at the point where we're starting to get free food.
Yes, yeah.
Including
Finally.
Free ice cream at the best soft serve place in Eastie called Slush King.
Oh yeah, that's getting reposted by a big Boston account.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's going good.
Oh my gosh. So when we do Rise Up Boston, we're getting slushies.
Oh yeah.
Oh, heck yeah. And you said you work in cybersecurity. I knew a little about your job, but tell me, like, what's your familiarity with crypto?
I know a little bit, probably more than most, just hearing from Will and overhearing parts of your guys' podcasts on a regular basis, but still not as much as I should know. Mm-hmm. I do have some investments in crypto.
Yep.
Very minimal though.
Mm-hmm. But she was like buying the bottom of XRP.
Oh yeah.
And then she told me after, she's like, I sold some crypto and I made a bunch of money. And I was like, oh yeah, what was it? She was like, XRP. And I was like, what?
I knew you didn't like XRP.
What? But then I was like, how much money did you make? Yeah, we're good.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. So everybody in the chat sends their greetings. Robert says, sup fellas and ma'am. And Mike said, damn, luckiest chick in the world. I told him, I think it goes both ways. Ma'am, that dolphin is famous And Will, is this your dolphin girlfriend in human form? So I'd say the response is 2 fins up.
Well, all I have to say is that there is no second dolphin costume, so please don't draw any not safe for work art, for the love of God.
No second banana. Yeah.
Oh.
Well, thank you, Violet, for coming on. I want to explain to friends who don't know, who might be seeing us for the first time, if they've never caught Rise Up After Dark or tuning in, that we play a little game here on the show. And the rules are made up and the points mostly don't matter. Every time you hear this sound, it means that somebody speaking or somebody in the chat or somebody out there in the wide blue world has gotten a point. And every time you hear this sound, it means that they've lost a point. And at the end of the night, the person with the most points wins. And if we together reach a sum I arbitrarily deem to be worth it, a member of our listening audience and one of our premium members will win a fabulous prize. And we'll tell you more about that prize later. But for now, if you want to play along, just hang out with us. Ask us your questions, share what you know, and you can double your chances by heading over to the riseupmorningshow.com and starting a premium membership trial. It's totally free, 7 days. You can cancel it if you need to, but you get all kinds of good stuff listed there. More access to us, more fun time, more helpful knowledge, accelerate your learning journey, yada, yada, yada. What's got you laughing? What'd they say?
This is from attorney Michael Moon. She can be a sardine for the dolphin.
I don't think I like that.
Okay, Michael Moon. Watch out. I sense some fan fiction coming on, and I'm not sure. Okay, so I wanted to know just generally then, if you said cybersecurity, can you tell us more about like what you do, or like what kinds of companies you work with, and what your domain is? 'Cause I feel like our audience would actually be super interested.
Yeah, so if anyone is familiar with breach and attack platforms, that's what we do. We do breach and attack simulation. So basically that means we spin up fake attacks in someone's environment to make sure that their security controls that they have in place are working properly. Oftentimes they're not. So we work with a variety of different companies. Right now, our like bread and butter is banks, any sort of financial institutions, healthcare, because those are our main targets for ransomware and things of that nature. Ransomware is a really hot topic right now. So that's something we test against, where we spin up like fake ransomware attacks. Make sure their endpoints are properly protected, that their pen tests that they're having done are properly performed. And they do this on a consistent basis instead of doing it on a monthly basis. Something that I think most people would not like to hear is that your bank is probably not properly testing their security controls on a daily basis. They're probably doing it on a quarterly basis, if that. And that's why breaches happen and passwords get stolen. So there's laws currently evolving around how often banks and healthcare systems need to test any of their security controls, but there's very minimal in place right now. So when those breaches happen, it's because they're not testing properly and something's misconfigured or someone slipped and it wasn't caught.
Well, that is a gwump for banks. I'm not surprised.
For Bitcoin.
Yeah, and a ding for Violet, because it sounds like kind of, Will, like you're dating, like a James Bond character.
I just need to be kept safe across all fronts, and she protects my skin. She protects the cybersecurity of all of our profiles, as well as others. But
well, thank you for your service, ma'am.
Thank you. I thank her every day.
Yeah, still
I'm curious.
People out there, but it's new and up and coming, I will say.
I have always wanted to be. I love like heist movies and cybersecurity and hacks and things like that, and I have always wanted to be a pen tester. And I don't have any like security background. I have no training in like the technical architecture of it. I imagine I could learn that, but really what I want to be is the guy who puts on his glasses and comes in with a clipboard and says, "I'm so sorry, ma'am. It's my first day on the job and I forgot my key. I just need you to let me back there for 2 seconds." And, whatever. I want to be that guy so badly. Is there hope for me? And what do I got to do to get a shot at that role?
Oh, you need years of experience.
Oh, no.
Oh, no, not years of experience. That's what they say in every job interview.
And be like a tech fiend.
Evan,
military background.
Where I feel like you could excel is you could be the dude who like walks into a random company's headquarters, right? Or data center, and you schmooze your way past the person working the front desk. And then you go and you place a device to then hack the entire company.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to do. You don't think they'd hire me to do that? I would be great at getting
I
stuff
think
in,
you don't need to be hired to do it. I think you just do it and then steal a bunch of data and then hold it for ransom and then get the money that way, put it into Bitcoin, and then just, you know, rinse and repeat a few times. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying it's time to do a little bit of crime. And by a little bit of crime, I actually mean a lot of crime in this case.
Yeah, that's clearly the play. That's clearly the play. I don't know. I want to do it someday. Maybe it's out of the cards for me. I might just have to write a book about it. I don't know.
Well, which company would you target first?
The one that had, I don't know, the loneliest looking secretary.
Oh.
The lonely. Yeah, no, that'd be. Yeah, that's
I don't
how
mean
you
it
target.
personally, but that's what I'd do. I'd target the loneliest looking secretary. I'd take a shower that day. I'd be very polite, unassuming, easy to like, but easy to forget. And
you'd bat those eyelashes.
Love them. Leave
You probably
them.
wouldn't be wearing a shirt anyway, so you know,
Oh,
you're just showing the abs.
I don't know. Listen. It's a dream. It's a dream. It's fun, and it's cool to know somebody who like helps companies with that, because it's a huge problem. We hear about it. In crypto all the time. Like, people are starting to target crypto companies and even crypto users. It's scary. So,
Evan, you want to know what question I've never asked you before?
me?
That I think everyone in the audience would be very interested in hearing the answer to. When you were a kid, what did you want to be when you grew up?
The first thing I remember wanting to be was Eddie Van Halen, the guitar player, because he had cool long hair.
I mean, all right, fair, valid.
And he was a great guitar player. And my earliest memories of the world are driving around Las Vegas with my dad at night, listening to Van Halen and looking at the lights. And it was just sensory overload in an incredible way to get to experience. And that left a mark on me. And then always.
Well, you are a musician now. So, I mean, hey, you followed that dream.
I as long as I have been alive, I can remember wanting to do entertainment, to be somebody who connects with audiences, people, through performances, the instruments of our bodies, stories, those kinds of things in spaces that we make meaning to, pay attention to each other, listen to each other. And that's the through line. Acting, music, that, always wanted to do that. And I get to do it every day. I even have a fake radio show.
I know, it's wonderful.
Thanks for that. That's a very generous question. I really appreciate you asking and the opportunity to share. But listen, this is not about me. You thought you were going to get Violet out of answering questions. I kind of wanted to ask Violet another question or two about, you said crypto through Will. And I bet you probably know more than 99% of all people. I say that to Kim all the time because she doesn't know it, but she knows it. And I'm curious what you think about just the state of crypto. What's your opinion of our industry? Like, you probably believe in it.
What is your opinion of our industry?
Do you think it's a bunch of crap? Do you think it's that we're doomed, that we get up and go to work at this every day? I don't know. There's no wrong answer.
No, I don't think you're doomed. I think I don't think you're doomed at all. I think there's a lot to do. You guys are still very much educating everybody and me on a consistent basis. But yeah, I don't think you guys would be working on this if you thought it was doomed either. I don't think people would be paying attention if they thought that.
What are the coins you've invested in over the years?
Yeah, I want to know what you bought beside XRP at the bottom.
I would have to look, but I have some in Bitcoin. I still have some in Bitcoin.
You still have the Ethereum?
Yeah, I definitely have some in Ethereum. I definitely had Solana at one point. And then, oh God, what was the...
Aerodrome.
Yeah, I made some money off of Airdrome. And then I think I had some bullshit little coins that did nothing. But not that many.
That's more of a buy it, forget about it, come back to it later.
Yeah, when things were really volatile, I was honestly, watching on a consistent
worked out
basis.
Pretty well. Yeah.
With Bitcoin, from what I know, you should just buy a little bit and let it sit and...
Honestly,
you
better off
say dollar cost averaging.
Yeah, honestly, doing better off than most new investors to crypto. I'm just buying some Bitcoin, and that's all. I'm not learning about the rest, except just perfectly timing the bottom of buying XRP, which I'm still really jealous.
Yeah,
about.
I should have bought more. Honestly, I just kind of did because I had some money just sitting there, and I was and I pulled out in 2 days, so it was quick. and you're disappointed in me.
Yeah, you made money. I wasn't disappointed.
Yeah. A win is a win. And I love that you just said, I forgot about it. Like, to me, that's honestly optimal crypto relationship health, is when you are comfortable enough with it and not attached to it every day enough to just be like, I forgot. I don't remember. Somebody in the comments, Schmack, our friend, said, good portfolio. It's a good strategy.
Mm-hmm. But, we don't talk about like blockchain tech or like crypto too much in the household.
Over dinner. Yeah.
Yeah, or over dinner. Cause like, I think Violet's interested, but I think also like I talk about crypto so much just looking at the phone or here on the show that like I don't want to talk about crypto when I'm not doing the show. And also it's just like, just doesn't come up too often. And also the more we dive into the weeds, I feel like the further Violet might get away from just like buying Bitcoin and forgetting about it, which is honestly just a great strategy all around. But yeah, no, we don't talk too much about like blockchain and crypto at home. It's more so like, I don't know, just like life stuff and goals and like problems and what we're working on and striving to push each other on and, just living life and what we're going to eat and do with our friends. And lately it's been a lot of planning for Japan.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, we don't talk about crypto too much between us.
No, I will say, like, before I met you, I knew what like Bitcoin was because it was very poppin'. But I did read a book right when I met you on like blockchain. This was over 3 years ago now. So I don't know how much I've really retained from that book, but I definitely do know a little bit about like how the blockchain works to a certain extent. I think it could be completely wrong.
How do you think it works?
Yeah, I'd be curious to know.
Like, I just know it's supposed to be safe and secure. Like, no one owns it. Like, it's everything's very traceable.
I mean, you got the gist of it.
Yeah, I mean, I did read a whole book, but it was very
3 years
heavy,
ago.
and it was like 3.5 years ago at this point. Yeah, I think I have a basic understanding. I would say my little sister is probably like, I don't know, it's a fake coin, and that's what they would know about it.
Yeah. Not to like put you on the spot. I was curious about it too. I always am curious just to know like what people think, because our whole job is like trying to get from where people experience it to using it safely, confidently. So it's very helpful, I think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Do you talk about crypto and blockchain when you're like off the show and like around town? Are you like Jesse Pollock walking up to people and just being like, "Hey, do you want to get on chain?" And
No, I do talk to people about it when it seems relevant, and it seems relevant more than I would have thought, but it mostly is very surface level. And I mostly am like, if people are curious or interested, I like let them know where they can go to get a deeper conversation. Cause like, it's not, I can't sit here and talk to you for an hour about it every single time. I would. And the difference between me and you is I probably would. If Kimberly was like, Evan, what do you think about this interesting new smart contract? I'd be like, oh, I'm so glad you asked. I hadn't heard it. You know what I mean? We don't talk about it. We do other stuff. She hears me talk about it enough. You know what I mean? And if I wanted to talk about it, of course, she would be all ears. And she has many good opinions on it that she brings about very generously, that assist me in thinking about the work. But no, I talk about it here and then I try to disconnect from it. I don't like to be thinking about my Bitcoin.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. It's healthy.
Yeah, I would like to be more like Jesse Pollock, though, in the sense that I do think Memphis is a place that everyday people could really benefit from it in a lot of different ways. And like I say, when I meet somebody who is taking orders, payments online, in person, pays credit card fees, small businesses, that's an easy way. I end up talking. I say, have you ever tried this? And they'll be like, no. And I'll be like, oh, check this out. That happens a lot. Or people ask me when they find I'm in crypto, if I'm wearing a shirt, they'll be like, what do you think about Bitcoin? What do you think about XRP? Should I get some? And then I tell them what I think.
What I think, honestly, we should make more content on is like the stablecoin adoption for small businesses, because you and Alex have talked about it. I really haven't talked about it much at all, because like that is how you're going to get people outside of finance starting to adopt crypto first, I feel like. So they're just like, oh, wait, I can accept this as an additional form of payment. I already accept multiple credit cards. I accept debit cards. I accept cash. This is just like a new thing, and I can save that 1% to 4% on credit card transactions. So it just seems like it's just like a really simple, easy win, and companies are coming out with those like debit cards that have stablecoin access to it. So you just, pop it on the same scanner that businesses already have, and you just saved yourself the 1 to 4% on the credit card fees. Like that just seems like a really easy, simple win that like a lot of businesses are already kind of ready and prepared to accept.
A lot of them use Tap to Pay already. A lot of them use other kinds. They'll take Cash App or PayPal even, and everybody's using Cash App and PayPal. So I totally think we had a product on the morning show today, actually, that Alex and I were like, oh, we can onboard Will to this later. Have you used Crack Pay? Did you see them at ETH Denver?
No, I can't say I remember.
The Kraken product, and it's like PayPal or Cash App, but it's seamless.
That makes sense why I've never heard about it, because it's from Kraken.
Dude, but they
don't market anything.
It's really, really good. And it's the kind of thing, Alex sends you a referral link, or you go on their site, scan a QR code. In about 2 clicks, you've got a unique username like Cash App that people can use to send you money, but it's on chain. And so it's fast, it's cheap. It's not everywhere, like it's not in Australia, it's not New York, but it is going to be a really good solution that will probably onboard a lot of people when they experience it and are like, oh my God, this is great. You pay fees when you exchange one type of currency for another. Or if you want to like move crypto off the platform. But I mean, it can connect to your bank. I actually think there's a way to make it free or cheap. It's killer. And it's totally that kind of thing that I'd have in my pocket and be like, oh, have you seen Crack? And also, we called the episode this morning Hooked on Crack, because Tech CEO was like, I'm hooked on crack.
Careful, we might get flagged on TikTok.
We had that conversation too. And we said, can you imagine saying this show is sponsored by crack?
That would probably not do great.
It would probably not do great. Yeah, it would be
it'd do great on everywhere except for TikTok.
Yeah. But that's what I mostly. I don't know. Do you find yourself using it even in your work in the course of I don't know. You probably don't talk about it. I mean, maybe you do. Or
Wait,
like when you're at the gym. Yeah, when we were talking about you and Violet don't talk about it a ton. But when you're, I don't know, at the gym or buying a coffee or wherever.
No, it almost never comes up unless people find out that I am an influencer. And then like I'll talk about it and I'll be like, oh, okay, cool. I have some questions. I'm like, yeah, sure. And then we just like have a conversation about like the interest area that they have and how blockchain technology could be used and like what's actually valuable. And then, it usually opens up because people are just like, oh yeah, crypto, like meme coins and Bitcoin and stuff like that. And then I always start off the conversation with 99% of all cryptocurrencies are garbage.
Yes.
And they're scams and they're Ponzi schemes. And just like in the internet, you have a bunch of failing companies who are trying to make something out of this unknown new industry, and they're failing. Yeah. And you have like 3 or 4 or 5 who have actually found something useful and are running with it. And then I talk about what those general use cases are, and people go, oh, okay, that's interesting. I didn't know that. I thought it was just like XRP and Bitcoin, and like I heard about fart coin and it just seemed silly. And I was just like, yeah, it is. You're not wrong.
Correct.
But here we are.
Yeah, okay, so I'd be curious. I have another question for Violet. I've noticed that a verbal tick we all have is we say, I'd be curious a lot. We've infiltrated each other with the I'd be curious virus. I'm trying to remove it from my vocabulary. Let me pick your brain, Violet. If you could change our content, or you have any feedback for our content, what do we obviously need to do more skincare content. That's a sponsorship.
We do need to do more skincare content. I would love for the first non-crypto sponsorship to be like La Roche-Posay or like Paula's Choice.
Yeah, he looked older when I met him.
I did look older for sure. And now the red light therapy mask is really adding an extra bit of glow.
I've taken 3 years off of his life.
My life?
Like,
you've taken it off my life.
Off your face.
God.
Off your face.
What would you do? Solano in the comments said more dolphin suits.
More dolphin suits?
I mean, I think so. I think everybody would like more dolphin suits.
More dolphin suits.
Yeah. We could start doing really cringy.
It didn't bother me, I will say.
We could start doing really cringy TikTok dances together dressed as dolphins.
Yeah, left dolphin, right dolphin.
My dolphin has to be purple.
Okay. We can make that happen.
Yeah. Let's see, additional things you could do. I mean, it'd be an ideal world. You guys live closer together and could do more things as a group, but I know that's just not how it is because you guys are spread out.
You guys could all move to Boston.
Yeah, you guys would like Boston, other than the winters. The winters are.
I like Boston.
Boston's cool.
I like it.
Yeah.
And the winters don't bother. I mean, I don't prefer winter, but I grew up in Michigan, so I'm used to it. I get it.
Oh, yeah. Well, that winter's worse, I think. Right?
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's unique. It's definitely unique. There's nothing like it. But I don't know if it's worse. But I don't know. Do you have any suggestions for our educational content? Things we could do to, I don't know, reach more people or be more helpful or tell a better story?
Honestly, I think you guys are ticking like most of the boxes more than anyone else is. When you guys already, like, you're not the typical crypto bro. Like, I try not to tell people Will's a crypto bro because it's like negative. And I'm like, it's not like that. He does crypto, not like that. But yeah, I know, like, I've said to him maybe like YouTube, but I don't know how big the crypto world is on YouTube. Like, I'm not.
It's big.
Yeah.
It's big.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, I think you guys should be posting your stuff on YouTube. Maybe easier for people to find.
Like the YouTube Shorts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you guys are doing solid. Like, you have women on, you involve women, which is great because there's not many, from what I'm aware of, not a lot of girls like in the space. It's very male dominated
on media.
Yeah, like you guys, I think, have like a very safe space for all paths of life to like come and talk and ask questions, which is great. Yeah, no judgment, no ageism.
That was Kimberly's feedback too. Always. She said when she found out that Will had made his Instagram account the show account, she was like, I have been saying that forever and ever, and that you need a show account on Instagram. You need a show account. You got to have it. She's always
we should have done it a long time ago.
Yeah,
so
I do think you guys need to link Instagram with TikTok. It won't automatically post things.
But now we need to get Alex. I know you're in the TikTok chat. We need you over on Instagram, dude.
Oh yeah,
it's pretty fast to download a TikTok, remove the watermark, and upload it on Instagram. It's pretty easy,
dude. And I found a faster way. I have a save to device option. Alex might not have it in my features, so that every time I post, I don't even have to click an additional button. It automatically saves it to my device with the captions, with the edits, with everything, and then I just go to Instagram. It's up. And I need to do it on YouTube Shorts too. But my friction point for YouTube Shorts is a lot of I think they have a 3-minute requirement for the videos. And I don't know if they've rolled it out to our account yet. And a lot of my videos are like 3:30, 4 minutes, 6 minutes. And it would be a pain in my butt to do the people here. I don't know. Which is not to say we can't do it. We can do it. We need to do it. You're not wrong. But.
Well, maybe only like you guys could compile some like longer form content or create some longer form educational content together to post on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like some basics, like a basic course.
Yeah, a bigger YouTube. Yeah. Oh yeah, like a basic
course, like just for people that like want to dip their toes in and get like a good understanding of everything, because it's so much and it's so confusing and most people don't know anything.
When you look to like learn about a new subject, are you on TikTok, YouTube?
It depends on what it is.
Yeah.
Like before TikTok, it was always YouTube. There's always YouTube. And if I want longer form content, I think YouTube's the way to go. I'm not going to watch a 10-minute video on TikTok. And I think you can make 10-minute videos, but no one really does that.
We make like some 6-minute to 10-minute ones, but like viewership is a little more.
And I also feel like in a way, YouTube's a little bit more reputable and YouTube's not going anywhere.
I would say YouTube is definitely more reputable on the
yeah. I mean, TikTok's kind of on this, I don't know. It's we don't know what's going to happen with it in the next year, it seems.
Well, it seems like we're getting M.
Yeah, which who knows
in March.
If
who knows if that's even real and what that's going to be like.
You got to update me. Is that the name of our US only TikTok?
That's the name. That's the rumored name of the US only TikTok.
I'm not going to believe it's happening until it's actually happened. Like no.
Oh, it'll happen because US companies want our data. They want all the data.
Yeah, but it's probably not going to happen how they say it's going to happen.
And
people are going to be pissed off. So it just seems.
What's the Chinese app again? That everyone ran to?
Red Book? Red Note?
Red Book, I think it was. Red Note. Red Note,
yeah.
We'll all go to Red Note again.
We all had mental breakdowns for like 12 hours when TikTok was down, and then it was back like that.
Yeah. I made a whole sing-along to So Long and Thanks for All the Fish. I even cried in it. I don't know if you guys remember that. It was a really nice musical.
Yeah. I'm remembering it now. And I think everyone would join me in saying we need more of that. And I really do resonate with I wish we lived closer and got to spend more time together or had like a common studio. And I look forward to being in the same space. One, because it's fun, but I do think fondly of the content we might get to make together. I'm still really mad that I didn't get to introduce the world to Schmilliam Schmatzens, like penthouse tower
Schmillion Schmatzens.
underneath the CN tower with a, you know, and a smoking jacket. You know, I really was looking forward to that.
Well, we got to get back together again, like not just for a conference. You know, in the wintertime, we got to get back down to Alex, and then we gotta figure something out again, because being around each other only around conferences is great. Conferences are Alex's dream, not mine. They're Alex's dream.
They're draining.
But they're draining. Oh my god. But I'm good for 2 hours, and then I'm fucking dead. I'm done. I'm a bad impression after that. But the first 2 hours where I'm caffeinated, I'm great. Meanwhile, Alex is just like, he's like on the Kraken solution. And
yeah.
You know, but like at the conferences, it's hard for us to make like some silly, fun, educational content again, like we did. And that's just a blast.
You guys need like a boys getaway, like 3-day weekend, something somewhere.
Boy,
nice.
Alex goes wuss.
Yeah.
Goes,
We do need one. I wholeheartedly agree. We need to go there, and then we're going to Maine.
Yeah, we got to get you guys up to Maine. That'd be fun.
Oh yeah.
And then
We gotta
my
go back.
parents would also love to be a part of the conversation.
Oh my god, yeah.
I
They would have
would
lots of
love-
opinions.
They'd also be getting hammered.
No,
I think that's great.
Yeah.
They would be interesting to speak to. His mom.
Oh,
they're
yeah.
both very opinionated. So
Yeah, they're
I
both
would wear
very,
nice-
very
I
opinionated.
I would wear a nice shirt to meet your mother.
Oh, she would appreciate
yeah,
that.
she would.
She'd be
I
like,
believe
"No,"
that.
but she'd be like, "No, if only you got dressed up to meet the SEC commissioner." But you're so sweet and so nice. And then another thing I also really appreciate about having conversations with my parents is like, hey, my dad was born in 1945 before World War II ended. My mom was born in 1952. So like very, very, very different generations. Like you talk to them about like what life was like back in the day and about like whatever topic, like my dad lived in the South during segregation. He also lived in French Morocco when French Morocco was a thing, and Japan like 15 to 20 years after World War II ended, like what it was like in Japan right after like the bombs hit and stuff. Like there's just crazy experiences. And then, you know, my mom growing up in a really small town, farm town in Maine, and then like moving down south to Virginia, like in 1970, like it's just like wild experiences. And then, you know, in the household too, with me across all of my brothers, very different political spectrum, very different religious views, and then also like my parents too, like very different, like everyone kind of has like a very different political view or view on religion, and like things that are really interesting to like talk about if you're in a safe environment. And you know, we'll all like disagree and stuff, but like we'll be drinking wine and drinking beer and drinking Jack and smoking cigars and just like getting into like a really refreshing 98% of the time very polite like political discussion on like, you know, it's just really nice. And if it ever gets heated, we go, all right, time for pie. And then the pie comes out and there's peace and there's peace. And then like, you know, it's really fun because of like how different they are. And I think it'd be great to have them on the show because they watch the show. They watch every morning show on YouTube. Wow. And
like religiously.
Yeah. And so they love the show. Like they love you and they love Alex. And they want to have a conversation with you guys real badly.
Yeah, they'll like call afterwards and ask them questions about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No way.
Mm-hmm.
It's just wonderful. Well, Mr. and Mrs. Watson, I am just honored to know that you spend so much time with us. I would love that. I think it'd be great.
They'd be good. They would enjoy it.
Yeah. If you guys need help with your flights, I got you.
Sign me up. Sign me up. Put me in.
Ruth will have you guys both staying at our house.
Oh yeah, You'll be staying. There's not an
me.
Option. You will be forced to stay at the house
and be fed pie.
There's enough beds, and oh my god, the amount of desserts she'll make will be
oh my god,
horrifying for my diet.
Too many.
Oh man,
Mama's all mama. Like I describe my mom to people, and I was like,
just top tier mom.
If you made a Skyrim character. And you had, or like you're playing an RPG and you have like 100 skill points, and you just took all 100 skill points and put them into mama. Like she's all mom. It's fantastic.
She's all his friends' moms. Like she adopts everyone.
She posts on National Sons Day, like all of like pictures of all of my friends.
She does.
Yeah, everyone's adopted.
That's a real gift to be able to. I have a lot of love in my family, and to have a family like those things you described, man, a lot of people wish they had that, and I'm excited to meet them, and I'm excited about this pie. I already know from hearing about your mother that everything she makes is probably incredible.
Well, you say this pie. There's no this pie. You're getting 3 pies. You might get a George Washington cake. There's going to be cookies and brownies continuously coming out of the kitchen. You're going to say, Ruth, please stop. And she's going to go, don't tell me how to live my life, eat more. And that's going to, then you just have to eat more. And that's that.
I'm about that life. I'm really about that.
We're all really about that life deep down inside.
Okay, if you are tuning in for the first time, welcome. If you're listening in podcast land, hello. We hope your candles are green wherever you are. I want to invite you to ask a question. If it's about crypto, great. We'd be happy to answer it. If you have a question for Violet, like does Will sleep with his socks on, or what's his favorite food at nighttime? I don't know what questions you have, or whatever. Let us know. It's your show, and we would love to hear from you, because you're the very best part of what we do. And I'm waiting until Alex gets here to talk about Bitcoin, but I will say an extra special thank you for powering the show to our friends at Polygon. We had a really good segment earlier today that was a tutorial on how to give your liquidity to Turtle Club. It was a good experience for somebody who is doing maybe DeFi for the first time, trying to use cryptocurrency tokens to earn some yield and interact with a protocol in a new way.
Tina.
I recommend you check it out. And then if you have other questions, I know they'll be glad to hear from you, and we'll be glad to hear from you. What are you seeing in the chat there, Will? What question?
I was trying to see, because Crypto Cousins said, did you happen to see my question for Violet above? I did not.
Violin.
For violin.
That's
so
our friend Carol. We got a lot of longtime friends of the show here tonight. So thank you all for being here.
I saw another comment where it was like, I have the same mother. Is your mom's name Tina?
Ruth.
No, my mom's name is Ruth.
Ruth. Yeah, we love it.
I am fully responsible for his skincare, 100%.
She is fully responsible for my
That
skincare.
man used body wash on his face prior, and now I've got him wearing
I didn't
red
use
light
body
mask.
wash on my face. I used a bar of soap.
That's, I think, worse.
Thank you.
Body wash?
No, a bar of soap.
It's worse.
Okay, all right.
Which I also used on the rest of my entire body.
That's
Definitely earned that gwump.
Oh.
Definitely earned that gwump, and might be a little more.
But a ding for Violet's skincare.
I'm gonna give her 2 dings for it
Oh,
because
thank you.
she is caring for both your skins.
Yeah. I love that from Robert. What's wrong with a bar of soap?
Nothing wrong with a bar of soap, just on your face. That is
And Monkey says we all need the tips, Violet. So I see that Alex is here, but before we bring him up, do you want to
Go
try
through the skincare routine. Well, what did you do for me? Go step like, how did you slowly wean me onto a good skincare routine?
First thing first, I just got your good face wash. I was like, okay, you have oily skin, good face wash, cheap, efficient face wash. And then I was like, you need a moisturizer, sunscreen. If you're not wearing sunscreen, I don't know what you're doing. You need to wear it on a daily basis. And then I worked him up to retinol and a BHA, and now we're doing red light. It's been a progress. It's been like one thing at a time through the years. Yeah.
And now
Sunscreen,
you can see
face wash. If those are the 2 things you don't have, that's
my
what you
skin
need.
is so clear, like a little
so-
baby.
like a little baby? Okay, so face wash will go a long way.
Face
Yeah.
wash and sunscreen. I would
Face
say
wash and
everyone
sunscreen
should
will
just
go
start there.
very long way.
Particularly for us whiteys, throw on some sunscreen.
Yeah, we're not going to age well without it.
Not going to age well without it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Alex, if you can hear my voice, I know you're trying to get into TikTok, and I'm letting you in. Ladies and gentlemen, it seems like a good time to introduce to the stage your friend, our crypto dad, Mr. Alex Popovich. Welcome, my friend, to the show.
Speaking of white.
Yeah, speaking of white.
How you doing? God.
What's up, guys? It's good,
Although-
it's good to
although I
finally be
think-
here.
I think out of all of us, I think Evan is the most lightest, fairest of the skin.
I think it also might be my light. I actually am pretty ruddy and tan right now, but you wouldn't know it. But maybe I'm the lightest of all. I don't know. We'd have to see. Look at that. I don't look like that.
This is
Yeah.
a weird. This is a weird contest.
It is a weird
Yeah.
contest. I'm going to save you from yourself by saying, welcome. Thanks for being here. We've been waiting for you to celebrate the fact that today, my friends, Bitcoin hit an all-time high, baby. $112,000. $112,040.
Beating the previous all-time high by a total of $40.
Hey, it's something. We'll take it.
It counts.
Promptly
We'll take it.
go
Listen,
back below.
I only had one question while I was driving, and it didn't get answered, and I'm really disappointed. So now I'm going to ask it again now that I'm standing here. What do I have to do to get a little bit more thigh out of Will?
Oh,
Because look at that
no, this is real pasty.
creamy ham hock.
Real pasty there.
I mean, I can back up a little bit so we can
Thank you. There it is. Where she blows. All right, I'm good now.
look at that.
What are we talking about?
Right there, baby. That's for Alex.
That's for Alex.
They're nice and hairy.
I could just get a little bit of that right there.
Well,
That's
we
the
were
Mm.
just getting to know Violet, if you want to know, but
She looked pretty good.
now we're getting the premium plus content from Will's OnlyFans.
from the OnlyFans.
My OnlyFans just called Thunder Thighs.
Might be the move.
Could be the
Might be.
move. I mean, I got him.
Listen, if
Bitcoin
these proposals go unanswered, then Will, you have no choice. I'm sorry. We're gonna have
Yes,
to.
this is true.
We got to step it up.
I mean, the Rise Up show we have discussed is perfectly positioned for an OnlyFans breach. Rise Up. I mean,
Oh.
yeah.
Oh.
We've had the
Yeah.
comment, and the other comment has been that we could do a partnership with Cialis. So it's not on the calendar, but if we get desperate and Bitcoin falls again, maybe that's where we'll have to be. We did get a question that I thought Violet would be well suited to answer, because I think this person may have missed it. And if you listening need to hear it again, Violet, among her cryptocurrency killing it accolades, bought the bottom of XRP, got it at a
Nailed
discount, and then sold it to make some money.
Wait.
No,
Sorry.
she
Hold
bought
on.
the bottom of XRP right before it blasted out of the 50-cent range for the first time, and she made like she made over 60%
Yeah, but
in less than 48 hours.
Okay, so
And
wait,
then-
can we go back to the part where you sold it then, and you took profit on
yeah, I
XRP?
sold it.
See?
I only held it for like a few days.
XRP holders, you too can take profit on your investments. For the love of God, please take profit on your investments. That's awesome. Good
we
for
had-
you.
We had somebody ask in the audience what we thought about it, and every now and then we like to ask about it because it's probably the token that people hear about most on social media. And you had mentioned that you had heard about it, and I'm just curious: of the crypto tokens you hear about when you're not talking, listening to Will talk, do you see it a lot all the time? Is that why you chose to buy it?
Yeah, that was like the only thing I'd seen come up on TikTok. And then people would talk about like Shiba or Doge and all the meme coin things. But yeah, I had seen videos from other creators about XRP. This was a little while ago though. I don't know when that happened.
Yeah,
I
it
think
feels
it
like
was
a
before
lifetime
we were
ago.
living together.
It was before we were living together.
But yeah, I was just like, I had a little bit of money just sitting in like my Coinbase, and I was like, oh, I'll just throw it in there, see what happens. And then I pulled it out a few days later and told him about it afterwards, and he was like,
Awesome.
XRP.
'cause I watched the videos, I knew he didn't like it, but I was like, oh.
Yeah, I've come around on XRP since.
I mean, the most successful trader that I know only trades Bitcoin and XRP. And he'll tell you all day long that he doesn't give two shits about what hypothetical banking partnership they're shilling to people. It's one of the best for trading. It's established. It's not going anywhere. It's been around forever. It moves regularly. There's always news that influences where it's going to go. So he has the opportunity for volatility constantly.
And the floors
Yes.
are pretty high since a huge portion of XRP holders refuse to sell.
Yeah. Well, and I mean too, just it is constantly dominating mindshare, which is the most important metric that you can conquer.
Yep.
So more power to you, honestly. Just take profit. Learn from Violet. I also made a comment. Violet and my mom just out here out trading all of us and killing it.
That's what I was going to say. Is I thought you were going to say the best trader I know, my mom.
My mom.
Yeah.
I was like, hey man, no lies detected. We were just talking about, you must have heard it, about getting with Will's parents, but I would love to have Linda specifically on the show, because everybody wants to know, does she have a newsletter? Does she have like a Telegram chat? Like, how can we get signals from your mom?
Secret
You have a Discord?
mom alpha.
Indicators, yeah, because she's always consistently killing it.
Yeah, it turns out my mom is Michael Saylor. Just out here.
Tell her not to sell.
Yeah,
For the love of God.
we
Our industry now depends on one man not hitting the sell button.
You know, that's an interesting hypothetical to explore, though. Like, what if, because one could also make the argument that him selling some would be good for all of us. Because
Oh, do you know who Michael Saylor is?
No.
So Michael Saylor is the head of this company called MicroStrategy.
Now just called
And-
Strategy.
Now it's called Strategy, which is stupid, and I refuse to call it that.
Fair
So
enough.
they rebranded it. It was dumb. So it is this software company.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Saylor, the CEO, like loved Bitcoin so much and saw the opportunity with it that he started being the first company to buy Bitcoin and add it to the company's balance sheet in like a major way.
Okay.
And now he uses the stock of the company by issuing more stock or selling the stock to get more money to then buy Bitcoin. And he has bought how much of the total supply of Bitcoin now? Like
Oh my
4%?
God. Multiple percentage
yeah,
points,
percentages.
Yeah, he has like
Oh,
4% or 5% of like the total supply of Bitcoin. And he's gone absolutely batshit crazy, buying like billions and billions and billions of dollars of it at a time.
Oh wow.
And it's been
Okay.
wildly successful. So other than, does he have more Bitcoin than Satoshi now?
No. Satoshi owns 1 million Bitcoin in a wallet that is, you know, archaic and untouched in many moons.
The founder.
That's what I thought.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
yes, 'cause I've heard of him.
The alleged
So that's Michael.
founder, person,
yeah.
or team behind the original creation. But there is a million in that, which is
Yeah,
obviously
I've heard of Satoshi before though.
he will pass. I'm sure he's going to pass them. Which I mean, that's then begs an interesting question. Like as we saw the fall of FTX, that whole debacle, which granted was not Bitcoin, it was their own token, so admittedly more sketchy, but constantly leveraging the value of a company, which is increasing because of the value increase of Bitcoin, to take that and buy more Bitcoin, thus increasing the value of Bitcoin, thus increasing the value of his company, thus increasing the value of Bitcoin, blah, 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 back and forth. Like, I see no way that could ever end poorly
Nope,
when it
never.
turns out that something malicious or nefarious is going on with Strategy. See, Strategy used to be micro, then they got big, and now he dropped the micro. So
True. Macro
I-
strategy.
I think it's every time I see a headline that he's buying more, I'm like, that checks out. This is worse. Like, this is not good for Bitcoin, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, I can see both sides of it too. And I actually think I agree with Himu, who, when we were talking to him, we caught up with him just in a call yesterday. And he made a remark about how it's an interesting play, like a hedge against Bitcoin, to buy shares of Strategy stock. He didn't say this explicitly, but I know what he was referring to is if the price of Bitcoin, if the price of Bitcoin, wow,
That's the ticker, folks.
Bitcoin, coin it. Jesse Pollock, are you out there? If the price of Bitcoin makes it so that buying shares of Strategy is more like dollar efficient, like get more shares and earn more Bitcoin, then you could have by buying Bitcoin, or the price of Bitcoin goes up, whatever it is, you might choose to buy Strategy stock as a hedge. And as long as they don't mess it up, they've got a blue ocean and a lot of capital to deploy, and people believe in them. The story is big. So I'm with you, Alex. I'm concerned about it, but like, I think it's an interesting move.
I've had the same thought where it's like, does it actually make more sense right now to be buying Strategy stock than Bitcoin? And here's the argument. Because you're still buying Strategy stock before it becomes a part of the S&P 500. And then it just gets plugged into the infinite money glitch of mutual funds, where mutual funds just automatically start buying it. And then that's an extra automatic bid that just starts blasting off, like Team Rocket.
Yeah. I think there was a comment too. I know Robert was asking a while ago, and I still owe you a deep dive on this because I haven't looked, but there's some interesting yield opportunities too with not their stock, but something else Robert help me remember. There's another fund that Strategy runs that you can earn like yield through from. I gotta pull it up. I have some notes somewhere. What did I say? I got it. Hang on. It's not because MSTY is their ticker, right, for the stock.
Yeah,
itself.
Strategy.
Okay, then there's
Yeah,
something
Misty.
else.
I thought it was MRST, but yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so there's okay. Let me look because I'm just gonna keep saying.
While you do it, I saw 1 or 2 comments asking to explain the strategy in more detail. So I just wanted to say here's what it looks like is if the MicroStrategy company strategy accumulates a meaningful amount of Bitcoin, like 1 Bitcoin per 1,000 shares of stock, just for easy math, then the Bitcoin per share ratio, it's like your benchmark of what do I buy right now if I believe in Bitcoin. If they have 100,000 Bitcoin and there's 100 million shares, that's 0.001 Bitcoin per share. And if Bitcoin's price rises significantly, then their Bitcoin is worth more. Investors might buy the stock as like a proxy for Bitcoin exposure because they can get more Bitcoin at that price than they could by buying Bitcoin right now. This pushes the strategy stock up in price. And then Bitcoin fluctuates and changes. So there is an arbitrage opportunity if what you're trying to get is Bitcoin. If you're a maximalist who only believes that Bitcoin you hold at your private key is valuable and not a stock that represents it, then it's not for you. But that's how it works. You buy Bitcoin or Bitcoin. You can short the company's stock. I mean, you could do it a lot of different ways. But I just think it's an interesting play that's available at this moment in time that I don't think we would have considered was real 10 years ago when people were still like barely accepting Bitcoin for anything. It's interesting to just consider a world where that's our option.
I don't know. For me, it's like if I want exposure to Bitcoin, that's just making it too complicated. I'm just going to go buy Bitcoin.
Yeah.
I'm playing a game that has some extra levels that I'm not familiar with, and I'm just more likely to mess it up. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to go buy Bitcoin.
I think that's super fair.
Me too.
Although I did see earlier, Nikki retweeted that Bitcoin staking is coming to Marinade through soul-based wrapped Bitcoin. So that's pretty cool.
Let me tell you, Hadley is making moves. Hadley Stern is well respected, well spoken, and he is connected. And I'm pretty sure they built a relationship with, is it Lombard who's making that possible, who's wrapping the Bitcoin? Yeah.
I don't know for sure. But
not to say that Nikki's any slouch, because he's certainly not, but I know that Hadley has a deal-making handshake.
Now, Hadley is so incredibly connected to the traditional financial world, and there's
his name is Hadley.
Yeah, his name is Hadley Stern.
Hadley Stern.
Can you that's a name that deserves to be like embossed in gold. Like if Jordan Belfort was coming up with the name out of thin air, like if you prompted ChatGPT at this point to make up Stratton Oakmont, like they would name it Hadley Stern, because holy shit, does that just immediately command? Oomph.
Yeah, and that's why there's no surprise. I retweeted it today, but I forget the amount of time it's been, but Marinade has gone from like 100,000 staked Solana to 900,000 staked Solana. And I think it was the period of like 2 or 3 months.
It's nuts. I mean,
it's crazy. And it's just because institutional adoption of Solana staking is what it seems to be.
I've been seeing a lot more like the back and forth now between, like institutions like Will. I know you've speculated about it a little bit. Who would win in that like decision about where to place money to earn yield, Ethereum versus Solana. And I mean, it says a lot. I think that is the conversation just at this point. Like, I think it just puts Sol in a whole different league than it has been previously. And I think personally, a lot of that is attributed to the fact that it's so spectacularly recovered post FTX. Because if you guys were paying attention at the time, you can look back at that chart and be like, man, I wish that I would have bought everybody with like 8 exceptions, wrote it off as dead forever because of that debacle.
Mm-hmm. One of those 8 exceptions was Amy.
Shout out Amy. Shout out Amy. Sold her car to buy Sol at $8, and it went really well for her.
It went really well.
So the thing I was thinking about that Robert had mentioned was MSTY versus MRST. And so one is the stock, And then MSTY offers the high yield, and that is the fund. So that is an ETF designed to generate monthly income. And it does this by writing options on MSTR shares. And that's where the yield allegedly comes from. But this is kind of what I'm not like prepared to give an educated explanation of exactly what all this stuff is. But I do have to say, and let me see if I can get the screen share on this because it's sick. If you ask Perplexity, this is why I like Perplexity, by the way, free plug. Evan, you're gonna be holding that for a hot second because I'm on the wrong computer. But look at this. Look at this. I want to show you this chart that Perplexity came up with to like compare all of this stuff for me because it looks great. Stop.
Hello, my darling. Hello, my honey. Hello, my ragtime doll.
I never even get to play the sound because you always rug
I can
me.
use Violet Charm.
I was expecting you guys to do a dance together. I
love
There's
that.
not enough room here, and she has a knife.
a knife.
Yeah.
If I say
Which
stall,
is technically a dirk.
it automatically
You did buy me that knife.
gets Will to start singing that song immediately.
That guy's taken down. I don't know.
No,
I like
I've had more knives and swords and
Okay.
warhammers on than
Okay.
yeah.
All right, Evan, here we go.
If you stabbed me with it though, that'd probably get
That would probably get us, respected.
Yeah, that'd be bad.
We'll try it.
Robert goes, is that why you're behaving,
Yeah,
well?
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Threatening me.
Wait till
Yes.
we'll go live on Pump.fun one day, and then you can use the dirk. Here we go.
Okay. Is this working?
And
Yeah,
then
that's
For our
the
friends in
actual
podcast land, if you want to see the screen share, as always, head to YouTube, search for the riseupmorningshow.com. This will be the first episode in the Rise Up After Dark playlist, episode 40. So, Alex, what are we looking at here?
Yeah, so this is basically my prompt was like a real bad sentence. I spelled half the words wrong, and thank you, Perplexity, for figuring out what I was trying to ask as I
Dude, I
hurriedly
think she's
typed
such a numbskull.
I know. I was
Mine too.
typing with one hand while I'm trying to not like. Anyway, here we go. So it tossed up. This is what I love. You can ask it for comparisons between different things, and it will chart them all together like custom for you with the indicators that you like wanted.
Oh, that's nice. This is very pretty.
Yeah, it's not, like Will, obviously this isn't like a candlestick charts. It's just kind of the little line. But I think, for like tracking like general correlation, I think it does okay. But it tossed up these three things, MSTY, MRST, and then whatever the hell MUR is, which I don't know what that is.
I don't know either.
Murphy
Oil.
it just randomly gave me the Murphy Oil Corporation stock at the same time. So thanks, Perplexity. I guess just for fun. But anyway, here you go. So
Wait, it gave me beef.
long beef.
Beef bumper.
So the blue line here is the ETF, and then the red one is MicroStrategy stock. So pretty much identical, which I guess makes complete sense. So here it says MSTY is the exchange traded fund, the ETF, designed to generate high monthly income by writing options on MSTR shares. As of July 2025, they've had an exceptionally high dividend yield of approximately, hold on to your butts, 129% annualized, with monthly payouts totaling $27.59 per share over the past year. Monthly payouts, which is typical. And then the fund's primary objective is to provide current income, making it attractive for yield-seeking investors. All of these would be like links out to stuff that we could follow and chase down, which I would do at a later time. No recognized stock or ETF. Oh, okay. Yeah, never mind. Oh, there we go. Okay, so that is the sticker. I'm just reading slowly here. But yeah, so that's what we're talking about here is the yield max, which is that ETF, based on leveraging their shares.
So you would have earned more in dividends per share than the share itself was worth.
That's what it sounds like. Yep.
Wow.
I'm sure that can only go well.
I'm not much of a stock person. I have to tell you, I'm too focused on crypto
So you
you
have
know,
zero
listen to
interest
stuff.
in like Circle or Strategy or Coinbase?
I didn't say I have zero interest. I just really don't have a lot of exposure, and more than that, I don't have a lot of time. I absolutely, when I get my InfoFi GPT and it can have a private key, I'm going to be like, hey, by the way, let's keep a lookout for these kinds of stock companies. Like I will talk to it and have a strategy, but I just don't have time.
You know,
I
think
have
though,
index funds, 401k kind of thing, IRA, you know,
Yeah.
and it's done for you, contribution style. I would like to take control of it someday.
do you think though that like Kraken putting all of it on the same platform would change that at all for you? Do you think you would add anything because of that? Like the fact that you can literally buy an ETF share directly on Kraken from the same account now, which is
Especially if I could automate it. If I could automate it, because the kind of stocks I'm interested in are either Circle and they're like once in a blue moon opportunity, make a leverage play, or stuff I would accumulate that probably wouldn't change, you know, but once a year kind of thing. And I if I could automate it, I would do it. If I could make it as easy as buying Bitcoin with River, I would do it.
As soon as there's a dip for Circle, I'll be buying Circle.
Yeah,
I don't know how much, but I'll have some exposure.
Yeah, what kind of dip would you be looking for? Because it just it went to 288 and then fell to 190, and now it's kind of like climbing up a little bit again.
Yeah, I'd be looking for support and thinking about.
I would be curious what you think about that. I was going to ask you guys on Monday.
Well, let me pull up Circle. I would be looking at. Oh wait, I have this doubled up on my chart. I have it tripled up. What have I done on this chart?
Well,
Anyway,
actually, you know what?
I'd
Based
be
on the
looking-
XRP thing, Violet, what's your target for Circle?
Yeah, exactly. What would be, looking at this chart right here that I have, what would your target buy point be for Circle?
Okay. Will I mess anything up if I?
No,
do this?
you'll be fine.
Hell yeah!
All right, she's
the trading view. I love it.
Let's do 118.
Okay.
Says 118, which is great because I was actually looking at 135.
Ooh, dang!
All right.
I'm giving you both a point for that, but I'm giving
118 is the bottom, confirmed.
the Violet indicator. We've got the inverse Watson of the Violet indicator, and you too can play along. If you're curious, because somebody asked this question, Kraken has stocks now. The answer is they have some stocks that you can trade after market or off the market 24/5. Is it 24/5 that's Kraken, or is Kraken?
24/5.
Yeah, and they're tokenized. So
it's cool. It's
very cool. It's very cool, and it's worth checking out. Robinhood also has a product like this, and they honestly, as much as I don't want to like them, have been talking and playing a really good game lately, like making some pretty great products. So,
no, I mean, I'll keep an open mind. I'm nervous about them just because the last time something was going really well for the investor, they were like, whoa, shut this shit down.
Yeah, no, I'm just waiting.
No money for you.
The time when like certain altcoins are flying and like leveraged positions are getting wiped out, and then they just like turn off their blockchain.
Yeah.
That's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Which is why I don't trust Robinhood as far as I could throw them, and I can't throw them because, well, it's digital or a physical building.
No, but
throw Vlad.
You could throw their mascot. Well, I was going to say that too.
I can throw Vlad, yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I get a little sketched out when like someone is in front of Congress and like is getting asked questions about stuff like that. Like because they dragged the Robinhood CEO out after the GameStop debacle and had some questions. He didn't have good answers, so that didn't really give me a whole lot.
But hey, he's still the CEO. Zero consequences. Also, what happened to the Epstein list? Zero consequences.
What a time we live in, right?
What happened to those? Yeah, wait, no, you guys had very large binders you were waving in front of us. Well,
no.
I don't remember that.
I have a question from the chat that will get us back to a place that probably won't get us banned on TikTok, which is somebody asked, I have XRP. I have about $10,000. I want to invest in crypto. What should I do next? Who wants to take it? Violet.
Understand? Ooh, Violet. What do they do next with their $10,000?
Crypto. They got $10,000.
Financially advise the people, Violet.
XRP. All in XRP.
I mean, they need to do some research. Obviously.
Okay.
Do some research. Listen to your guys' most recent TikToks of the last 2 weeks. I'm sure there's something good in there.
Very important. Watch our TikToks.
They're talking about Circle. Look at when Circle, I don't know.
It gets to
circle,
$1.18.
gets to
Gets to our $118.
If it does get to
$118.
$118,
Yeah.
invest some in Bitcoin because it's stable. Stable coins.
Stable coins.
Yeah.
And
Stable
LaRoche,
coins. A little bit in stable, a little bit in something more volatile. Bit of both.
Nailed it.
how much do I need to leave budgeted left over for my skincare routine? Is it 150?
Yeah, right. What are we talking there? It's not that bad.
Not that bad.
My skincare routine involves I think Alex, I have the same face wash as you. It's I don't remember the brand, and I have a lotion now that is the same one that I know you use, Will. It's not La Roche-Posay. It's
Didn't that get recalled?
Kiehl's. It's Kiehl's. Kiehl's?
Oh, yeah, Kiehl's is good.
I used Kiehl's at
Kiehl's
first,
is good.
and then they raised their prices. I used Kiehl's when I first began walking the path.
What a
It's a good starter brand. It's a good starter brand,
It's
but
a
like
good brand.
if you want a finisher brand, you know, what brand do I use for my moisturizer?
Vanny cream.
I use Vanicream. That's the finisher. Yeah. What's it called again?
Vanny cream.
Vanny-
Like VANI.
Is it Vani cream or Vanny cream?
Vanny, but some people say Vani.
Vani cream.
Vanny.
Okay, so good to know. Good to know. I'm using a rookie.
No, you're using a pretty good one.
But they
actually.
increased
That
their
one's-
prices, and it's not as
that
good of a
one's
deal as it
it's
used to be.
expensive.
It's expensive now.
It's good.
Yeah.
Vani cream.
Tallow, no. No.
Would
To the
someone say
person that
tallow?
said tallow, no.
Try tallow for face from Farmer's
No,
Market. It's amazing.
If you're
Why not?
Because if you're acne prone, don't. If you're not
Okay.
acne prone, maybe it'll work for you.
Got
What
it.
happens? It just like clogs your pores and you get a bunch of
It
pimples.
can, yeah,
Yeah.
if you're acne prone, which
Okay.
I am.
I think, I mean, there's just
recommend
like
that.
so many
Scratch
different
chest first. That could
skin types. Like I remember because I had a lot of problems when I was in high school, and I went through all of like the classics, whatever was on
Oh, yeah.
like the classic shelf. I mean, I remember the pink
Probably-
grapefruit Neutrogena stuff, and that made me
Oh,
break out like
yeah.
crazy.
With the popping beads?
That one was super
Yes.
popular. Like
Mhm.
so many famous people had commercials for it.
I
Yeah.
think I used that, and I remember being like, "Wow,
I
that
definitely
makes- I feel the zing."
Yeah, it just drive me out like crazy, and then I remember
Yeah,
getting like really weird like skin blotchy breakout stuff.
Garbage.
Mhm.
And then God, there was another popular one that like Kendall Jenner had a advertisement for. That was really bad. I know Panoxyl was pretty big. For acne.
I was trying to find the name of the one that I use because Evan, I don't know what it's called. I just know what the bottle looks like. Christina put it in the shower. It's
Yeah, I think it's good.
Biosense.
Oh,
It's like a green. It's like
Okay.
squalene and antioxidant. Like
yeah,
this-
that's you got the good stuff.
It's really nice.
Hell
It's the
yeah,
only thing that's ever.
that's the good stuff. That's not cheap.
Yeah,
Yes.
baby.
Yeah, that's
No, it-
that's approved.
That's the only thing that I've used in the last how long, and I think it's the best thing that's ever worked for me. So I'm a
Yeah,
big
I
fan.
mean that's a good product. That is.
Nailed it.
It's solid.
Man, we should be sponsored.
Yeah,
can't
this
take
show is
any
not
credit
yet
for that
sponsored
one.
by any skincare products, but it should be. Look at us.
Should be.
We're
Yeah.
glowing.
I can't take any credit. That's all Christina. She put it in the shower, and then I just benefited from
Same.
it.
It's also all Kimberly, and we owe them a debt that we'll never be able to repay.
Oh, wait, we got a question
Keep
here
going.
from Matthew. Wait, so what do I use instead of tallow? My skin's been reacting so bad since my mom told me to use
Oh
it.
my god, don't listen to your mom, no offense.
Yeah. So what do they use?
If you have like dry acne prone skin or just acne prone, like the company DIEUX has two very good moisturizers. One's called
Evan's writing this down.
Instant Angel. That's if you're dry, and then Air Angel if you're oily. And both of those products are very, very good. They're both backed by very reputable brands, and they own their formulas, which most companies don't own their formulas. So formulas change all the time. Chemists
interesting.
founded, they own their formulas.
Correct.
Matters.
That's cool.
Correct.
That whole brand is pretty solid.
I do love. Jeff
Ew.
Rascal points out
Skincare.
crypto and skincare. I love it. And it's like this is a what an interesting juxtaposition of
And this is
topics,
a
but-
reoccurring Venn diagram on
It's-
how
You
to
said it,
After
man.
dark.
You never know what you're going to get after dark. And okay, here's what I want to do because we do have 2 or 3 questions. We're never going to be able to surpass that answer. So I would love to know, Alex, if you would just add an addendum to you've got $10,000, you'd invest it. Where would you start? Because there are 2 other questions I want to answer, and we want to get yours too.
Yeah.
which are just for previews, thoughts on DeFi Bitcoin, like wrapped Bitcoin, because it's failed before, from Matthew. And someone wants to know about the Coinbase debit card. So I feel like covering crypto cards would be helpful. But first,
The debit card or the credit card?
they have they have that new credit card coming out.
Credit card's coming out, and I'm on the wait list.
Yeah,
Damn,
me too.
me too. We can talk about both. We can talk about both and
sure.
why we would.
I'm
prefer
so
one over
excited.
the other.
I plan on using it for every single purchase when we're in Japan to just be like, I'm not spending money. I'm investing. I'm investing. I'm investing.
Let's go there first.
We're going to call that Will math.
What company's
Yeah.
putting that out again?
Coinbase.
Coinbase.
In
Coinbase.
partnership with
No,
American
I remember
Express.
you telling. Okay, American Express. I remember you
Yeah.
mentioning that.
Yeah, and American Express, I understand, is harder to probably get a card from than like Visa, but maybe it'll help that I'm a Coinbase customer. And I have great credit, but I want that card. You guys think it'll be tough to get?
No.
I don't think so, because Coinbase wants to make money, you know?
Correct.
Usually whenever anybody issues out a credit card, they're like, everybody and anybody.
Yes.
Good credit too. Why
Yeah.
wouldn't they?
Okay, and let me just quickly explain the difference for somebody who may not know it. That Coinbase has two cards, and many crypto exchanges or crypto companies have tried cards before. They've tried credit and debit cards. The first one I remember seeing was Crypto.com. They had a debit card where, depending on how much you plan to buy, spend, whatever, you could earn increasing amounts of their token, Crypto.com, the Crow token, as rewards. I think the top card gave you like 6+%.
I mean, they deserve a shout out. They really pioneered that whole thing. They had a bunch of options. It actually worked. They were the industry leader for
They were
sure
too early.
on that stuff. Yeah, they were too early. Yeah.
And they didn't have the right kind of partnerships because we didn't have the right kind of regulation. So really, now the companies that are well positioned to offer it, now that it seems like regulations will be more friendly, they've got a bank charter, they got a whatever. They are doing debit cards. That's the first one. And the key feature is spend your crypto like cash. Coinbase debit card, it works with 40 million, the Visa network, so worldwide. There's no annual, monthly spending or any kind of other fee, and you earn crypto rewards on every purchase. You can choose from rotating coins.
Sorry, I spaced out. Which one is this?
Coinbase debit
Okay,
card.
yeah.
But a lot of them work similar to this, and you earn like 1 to 2% back in crypto, the crypto of your choice. You don't need a credit check, yada yada, and you can apply for it on their website. It's a pretty standard process. The debit card, the Coinbase One card, which is launching fall 2025, is earn 2 to 4% back on Bitcoin everyday purchases, depending on your asset holdings. So if you are holding more assets on their platform, which they like, they'll give you more stuff. And it's a Amex card. So to apply, you've got to be a Coinbase One member, first of all. You can sign up for that for like $50 a year.
Yep.
And that gives you other kinds of benefits too. We can talk about it another time, especially their 24/7 premium service, which is worth it. Sign up for it and cancel if you need to. But
It's a beautifully crafted, very synergistic partnership with them and Amex, I have to say. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
it's well done.
And as I already have Coinbase One, and
Yep.
it
Me too.
pays for itself in one trade for me. So I'm just like, cool, great. And now it's just like, hey, do you want a credit card for free? I'm just like, that gives me 2 to 4% Bitcoin. Yeah. So like, I have my main credit card is another American Express. It's the premium one for Delta. Because I'm a bougie bitch when I travel and I need to be first class. Otherwise, I have a little pout.
What's that TikTok trend? Like princess or bare minimum? Like you are
Or a
such
baddie man?
princess.
When it comes to travel, I'm
Thank
a
you
little
for
princess.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Patty princess.
No, I
Pretty
believe
princess.
immediately that Will is a princess.
Yeah, I'm
Like-
a little princess when I travel.
You guys
need
should do
to be
that
first
video,
class
but with
or
Violet
Delta
driving.
Comfort Plus.
Oh, we're
Delta
not-
Comfort Plus is fine.
Not doing first class to Japan.
No, we're not. But we were so close to being first class to Japan. Oh, but anyway, got talked into saving money, which is fine because we have some nice ass fucking hotels. Not gonna lie.
I would
but-
rather do that than the ticket any day. The lodging
Yeah,
versus the
because like
flight.
one thing too is
any
like
day.
when you're on a really long flight, I hear some people be like, "Oh, it's worth it to shell out for it," and I'm just like, "Is it?" Because it can be $10,000, and at the same time, like even in a really nice seat, you're in there for 16 hours. Like you're gonna be uncomfortable in the really nice seat, and you're gonna be uncomfortable in the coach seat too. So like, coach, and then just get nicer hotels, and buy some cool experiences. But what was I saying? Oh, yes, right. My plan is to use the Delta Amex card until I get up to the point where I save my status, and then I'll be using all the Coinbase One card. That's how I'm going to be using it.
Do you guys use debit cards generally, or crypto debit cards at all?
Almost never.
Only whenever I need to get cash out of an ATM, which in Boston is fairly frequently.
And I'd be curious to know if it's. See, there I go again. I'd be curious. Can I pick your brain as to why?
Well, why would I ever use
Yeah.
a debit card when I can
Yes.
save money by using a credit card? If you use a credit card as if it's a debit card,
Yeah.
a credit card will unequivocally save you money. But if you go, oh, I have $10,000 of credit, even though you only have $500 in your bank account, and then you
Like,
use all of that, and then you get stuck with a 24% interest, and then you can't get out of that, and then you're covered in debt your entire life. Yeah, don't get a credit card if you're going to be that person. But
Yeah.
if you have a credit card, it's a debit card.
Beautiful.
There you
That's
go.
how I feel too. You are spending other people's money. So if somebody steals it, does something wrong, spend,
also
compromise
that.
revenue,
Exactly.
they'll put it back. The
Yeah.
debit card, you're on the hook for it. And the rewards, they're not as good. You're spending money. It's, back and forth with your bank. You're not building credit the same way. It's just like, I don't have any reason except for an ATM to use a debit card. So, and I also don't want to spend my crypto. I understand people who do, that's a real thing. Mr. USDC to $2 over here would like to be able probably to use USDC, but
You have a good story on this conversation
What?
with the guy in the gym.
Oh yeah.
tell us.
My trainer. So I don't have any debt. I'm very lucky, but I'm also smart with my money. I have zero debt. And my trainer at the time was like, "Oh, what method did you use?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "What method did you use to pay down your debt?" And I was like, "Oh, I don't have debt. Like I put everything on my credit card. I pay it off every month. I just don't have debt." And he was like, "Credit cards are evil. Credit cards are evil. Cash is king." And I was like, "No, they're not. Credit cards don't put people into debt, just like spoons don't make people fat." And he was like,
That's perfect. That was so good.
and he was he was literally about to get an argument with me. He's like, "No, credit cards are evil. They destroy people's lives. Like only cash." He's like, "I cut up all my credit cards because I put myself in so much debt." And I was like, "Well, that's on you. Like if you are impulsive and you don't have any discipline or control, don't have one." I totally understand. Maybe they're not for everybody. But I've had other friends get in arguments with me too, being like, "Credit cards ruined my parents' life." I'm like, "No, your parents did, in my opinion."
Yeah, I think
You gotta
My
make a
opinion-
TikTok. You gotta make a TikTok on that and use that same line.
People do
Yeah.
like really disagree with me though, but I only use my credit card like exclusively, and people find that to be insane. Certain people.
no, that's all I do.
Yeah.
I will not spend money on a debit card unless I literally like am in a position where I forgot the credit card or I didn't have it
Yes,
on me or
same.
like something.
Yeah.
And I would totally take an American Express sponsorship. I mean, I will say super lucky. Well, I don't know. I shouldn't say that because I did enlist in the military to get this benefit, but free platinum cards to enlisted military, which is great because that is a hefty annual fee. But I mean, hella express points. I'm going to tell on all of us right now. There is a big like underground. It's not really underground. There's a big like ring of all of us enlisted people in the military just referring each other to the American Express Platinum card and racking up hella points. Because you can just you get it, you refer someone to it, you spend a bunch, you get a shitload of points.
Yeah.
And then you refer it to someone else, and it's a charge card. It's not a credit card. Like if you want to carry a balance on it, you have to specifically apply to carry the balance, and then they measure over a certain number of months, and they charge you a specific amount of interest on it. It's great. But so you have to pay it off every single month, so you can't carry a balance on it. And the benefits, if you fly a lot or if you travel a lot, are nuts. So all of us got it because we're deploying all the time. You're constantly on flights going from here to there, wherever. And we're all just like constantly in like the best Marriott hotels because we all have platinum cards. And everyone's like, what the hell are you guys doing? You're a bunch of like E4s and E5s like making peanuts. And it's like, it's this bad boy right here. And still have it to this day because, you know, it's I've at this point I have so many points that you know,
That's
I'm
sweet.
like what's that movie with George Clooney and Anna Kendrick where
Oh
they
yeah.
Oh,
I forget the name of it.
in the
like he's like
airport.
that's his whole thing is like racking up points. Like he's on a mission to rack up like the most points of all time and then basically just have like free everything for the rest of his life because of how many credit card points he has or miles. He's a miles guy.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, they do. That's pretty sweet. I also saw Violet and I were laughing at a comment
Yeah,
that goes,
sorry about-
I swear there's an evil spoon in here with me. Violet's comment.
I think there's.
You gotta make a TikTok on that.
That's a really good
I
line.
might have people go after me.
You'd have people go after you, but that would help the
That would be
TikTok
good.
do
Yeah.
well.
That's called engagement.
That's
And
called
even-
engagement.
This is true.
Because it's what you said was all facts.
Plus, then you can create the follow-up video where, like, obviously there's some nuance, and of course there's some predatory credit card that has some crazy
Yeah.
rate. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, but that's why financial literacy is important. Then, boom, there you go.
Exactly.
Series.
I don't know if 18-year-olds need to have one. I don't know if they're quite financially literate. Maybe we should raise that to like 21.
No, they're too stupid.
I mean, I think that's
I
the
got
new.
mine when I was like 18, but I
They're super
was very
smart.
smart with my money, and I was like, I treated it like a
Yeah.
but most
But
people
that's the
don't,
nuance,
so.
though, right? Like, the credit card itself is a tool.
Yeah,
But some institutions will ridiculously give some people who should not have crazy high limits,
Exactly.
ridiculously high limits, because they know they can trap them at a predatory interest rate for the rest of their life
yeah,
and own them, which is shitty. But
it's terrible.
I would say in that case, then on Violet's side, that in that sense, like the way that a knife can be used for good and bad, that the credit card is being used as a tool by a predatory institution to just take advantage of people.
Yeah, I do think that does happen.
Hmm.
But
A credit card puts you in debt the same way a spoon makes you fat. No, that wasn't what you said. Damn, I forget what it was exactly.
That was
perfect.
it.
Luckily, it's recorded. It's recorded, so we can play it back. It was so good.
Neil is just going to be watching that video when you're like not around and be like, damn, she's so good.
just taking my clothes off.
And on that note, I do want to remind you that if you've got a question for us, we've got about 30 minutes left live of After Dark. We still got to tally up a winner for a game. And you, yes, you could get yourself a little bit of a point. But if you've got a question, we want to hear from you. And I do want to ask you this question about taking it back a little bit to what you said. We were talking about Hadley Stern making deals. And Marinade has this Bitcoin product.
Oh,
that
yeah.
they're probably partnering with Lombard on LBTC. And people who watch our show regularly, or if they're tuning in for the first time, may come to recognize this name Lombard, because this is a company that is doing the sort of leading, they've gained a lot of attention in the last year, the work to bring DeFi options to Bitcoin, meaning to extend its ability as like a financial instrument to go do things that generate yield and pass that yield on to the people who own the Bitcoin. And this is a difficult thing to do because it requires, math, cryptography, code to pair that asset to collateral that might change in value over time. And in the past, people have done it and it has failed for a variety of reasons, because the companies who custody it have been compromised, because the collateral has lost its value, or the math has unwound. Many different things have caused DeFi instruments like this to experience a sharp loss in value. But I think Lombard Bitcoin has so far done a lot of really great work to give people options to earn yield on their Bitcoin by exchanging it for Lombard Bitcoin. Very quickly, is that good? And if the next step is, could one of you maybe just say what a wrapped asset is? I feel like we always should say that, but I'm glad to know more about Marinade's thing specifically if it is Lombard.
Yeah. The easiest way to think about wrapping is that if you want your crypto to go somewhere and do something that it normally is not allowed to do, you have to put it in a costume first so that it can sneak through the door and get into
A
the club.
dolphin costume?
No. Stop that.
All right,
The
fine.
dolphin's
We'll settle
finally
for a
gone.
manatee. What if that was a blue banana?
I would support
Technically
that.
different.
I
Yeah.
would support that. Technically different. I just
Technically
take the
different.
eyes off the dolphin costume.
It's a banana.
Suddenly it's a banana.
Yeah, Evan, I'll pull this one up to see if I can see whether or not it is Lombard or not. But the essence is basically that Bitcoin natively cannot run around on the Solana network and do stuff. And so one way that you could do it is to wrap it in a shell that can live over on Solana. And then basically it would work the same way that a bridge works in theory, wherein you could have Bitcoin. Will's got some Bitcoin. It's on the Bitcoin network and it lives in this wallet. And he's like, I want to get some yield. I'm going to go over and see what my options are. And he's got a couple choices. There's CBBTC, which is base wrapped Bitcoin that you can do stuff with through Coinbase on the base network. There's apparently this Solana option. There are other options. So he's like, okay, I'm going to deposit my Bitcoin into this thing. And what I'm going to get in return in exchange for me doing that is Bitcoin in a costume. And then I can take that over to whatever network I'm interested in and do something with it and earn interest, earn yield, here or whatever. And so that's kind of the essence of what you're doing when you wrap anything. You have your money in a currency or a token, and you want to do something with it. You don't necessarily want to sell it and put it into something else. You would just rather use it as it is. You can wrap it and do the thing.
Another analogy is it's like changing a file type. You can't open a Word file in Excel or whatever. So you got to just change the format of the file so you can use it in a different application. And in this application, you can earn some yield on your Bitcoin. And it has failed in the past, and people don't like to do that because a lot of Bitcoin people, they don't, they want Bitcoin to be Bitcoin. They don't want to mess around with it. They don't want to make silly little ordinal pictures with it. They just want to get more of it and let it sit there.
But you know what's funny?
Clowns.
Sorry, I didn't mean to. God damn it. I deserve that. I didn't mean to rug you.
No, but tell me what's funny.
I just think it's funny that the people who whine and decry people doing stuff with their Bitcoin are the same freedom maxis that are obsessed with Bitcoin in the first place. And it has the vibe of like, yeah, freedom. And it's like, oh, cool. Well, I'm going to do this with it. And like, no, not that. Don't come for me. Not that. And I'm just like, dude, fuck off. That's such a stupid thing to be mad at people about.
That's fair. I don't know. Will, do you have an opinion on it in terms of, is it safe or should people be checking it out? Do you have one that you recommend or that you've experimented with?
Well, you're increasing your risk whenever you wrap your Bitcoin because you're exposing your Bitcoin, which is on a very safe blockchain, to whatever blockchain environment that you're hopping onto, and then also the DeFi solution that you are using. So you're adding a lot of additional risk because if you were to lose that wrapped Bitcoin, you can't just get your Bitcoin back. So for me, for Bitcoin, I won't wrap Bitcoin because there's just extra risk that I just don't want to expose to it. And there are some very, very, very time-tested wrapped Bitcoin solutions that haven't had really any issues. But it's just an extra potential weakness in the security of my Bitcoin, and I don't do it. I was going to experiment with a small amount with CB wrapped Bitcoin, just because I could have Bitcoin on Coinbase. I could just buy a few $100 and then then you have wrapped Bitcoin on Base and you can go experiment with it. But I was just looking at the yields on it and it was less than 1% at the time. And I was just like, this isn't worth the effort or the experiment anymore. And then I just, kind of sidelined the whole thing.
It's kind of how I felt about it. I don't mind losing 1%. I don't want to put up with the risk. I don't want anyone else to be in charge of my Bitcoin.
The risk to reward seems bad.
Yeah. The custody trade-off, honestly, is a lot for me because though I do a lot of stuff that's custodial, where somebody else has my assets on their platform, I'm trading or whatever, I just don't like to do that stuff with Bitcoin. There are some things I just deeply, that's something I have conviction about. As a crypto believer, I'm Bitcoin. What could be more valuable than having Bitcoin? For me, the answer is pretty much no. Alex, are you okay?
Yeah, right.
You get attacked by an insect?
Yeah, a very tiny one just randomly was like, I'm going to repeatedly bump into your glasses over and over again. I'm good.
Nice. I'm good. But I saw the question from Dr. KC on TikTok, which is wrapping the same as staking? No, it's
Good
not.
question.
As we said earlier, wrapping your Bitcoin or your Ethereum, you can wrap other things too, but in this example, wrapping your Bitcoin is just preparing it to being able to go and play in other blockchains to earn interest. Staking is you have the native asset of the blockchain, or it doesn't even need to be that anymore. You could be other things, but you have a native asset in the environment it was built on, and then you are taking part in what is called the consensus mechanism. You are putting your money to help secure the network, and as a reward, you are rewarded interest. So it's different. You are, at the end of the day, they are both ways to earn interest on your investment, but they're not the same, and they're very, very, very different in terms of how you go about getting that interest and why you're getting it in the first place.
We have another good follow-up question that's what to do with your profit. If you're earning DeFi yield, if you're Violet and you're selling your XRP when it's up, what do? Do you sell it into a stablecoin, into USDC or USDT? Do you keep it on Coinbase? Do you send it to your bank, buy yourself some ice cream? Do you buy Bitcoin with it?
So I'm going to give a very nuanced answer. And if the macro environment were different, I would say I would just put it in a stable coin. And then I'd have it earn interest on Coinbase or take it to Morpho because Morpho has really good rates, or Aave, or whatever.
Turtle Club.
Aave uses Morpho underneath, or take it to Katana, which also uses Morpho, and you can get some great yield. But
Really good
here's
yield.
something to think about. Because of the current trade policy of the United States, the dollar is weakening, and it's on purpose because a weaker dollar boosts manufacturing, which is a goal of the current administration. So if the dollar is weakening, your purchasing power, even if it's in a stable coin, even if it's earning interest, is also weakening. So I will put it not in a stable coin. I'll have some in USDC because there's a lot of interest earning opportunities, but I'm going to take half and I'll put it, and I have some in stable euros or stable whatever other currency of your choosing. But the euro has been holding up pretty nicely, and you can the stable euro on base is EURC, if I remember correctly.
Correct.
Yeah, it's EURC. So diversify your stable coins. Correct. Diversify your stable coins because we're in a macro environment right now where the value of the dollar is falling very aggressively with plans to make it fall further. There's also more reasons as to why the current administration would want to fall, and any administration would want the US dollar to weaken right now, because we have a lot of debt. And if the value of the dollar falls a lot, so too does our debt, because our debt is in dollars. So if you really, 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 really weaken the dollar and you make investments in other places, Bitcoin, or you hold other fiat currencies, then you can pay off your debts much more effectively, because now that gigantic pile of trillions of dollars is worth maybe 20% less or something, 15% less,
Yep.
So fun fact, there are a lot, I just mentioned this because there are a lot of incentives and goals that are achieved only by weakening the dollar. So if you are putting things into stable coins or you're putting things into cash, be aware that your purchasing power is purposely being weakened because of other goals and objectives.
Well, and two, you have to fight inflation, debasement without a weakening dollar, just the natural reprinting of money. So you have this this percentage of loss of purchasing power that you're losing every single year. And the best thing you can do is just figure out how you can mitigate that as much as humanly possible. So I'm constantly
that's just
chasing that gap.
Usually it's, hey, I can go on DeFi, I can earn a whole bunch of interest. Hey, even on Coinbase, I can earn 4.8%. That's way better than the savings account. That's great. But we have so many other additional pressures right now that are really weakening the dollar. So you got, if you're really trying to up your game, then look at the stable euro. Look at the, actually the Swiss franc isn't a good example because their central bank's interest rates are 0 and potentially negative. So something else, but other very strong currencies, maybe even the British pound too. So what?
Okay.
No, but I think in that sense though, that that's kind of why I'm constantly dying on this hill. Evan, Kim and I ran into each other in the comments on a random video the other day.
My Kimberly?
Yes. It was a video that was that trend that's going around, if you've seen it, where it's like, hey, I'm bored, tell me your spiciest take on something. Yeah, your lore about something. This was like, what financial hill will you die on? And I just wrote, we have to take way more risk than our parents and grandparents ever did to get to the same place that they wanted to, because the nature of investing has changed, and you can't just put $250 a month into the S&P and retire in 40 years. That's not feasible for anybody anymore. And a bunch of people have been arguing with me, but really, truly, what's the annualized return on average of the S&P 500? On a really good year, it's what, 10%?
8 or 9.
Yeah, it evens out to about 7 to 8. If you're losing 30% a year because of inflation, debasement, and the weakening of the dollar, but you're earning 7% interest per year on your dollar, then your only real friend there is compounding, which is worth mentioning because it does help mitigate that gap a little bit more. But still, you're earning it in something that is losing value aggressively at the same time. You have to do something else at this point. That's the hill. And so Kim said She's like, I heard the phrase, "What hill will you die on?" I immediately thought of you. I opened the comments, and there were you there was you at the top, like dying on a hill. And I was like,
That's awesome.
Here I am.
Here I am.
Here I am, languishing on hills.
Oh.
I wanted to say, before we go any further, a quick welcome to everybody who's just joining us. I saw Nanny Crypto in the comments who said, woohoo, Bitcoin, which gives me another chance to play this bumper we never get to hear.
What is it?
$112, $112,040, $112.
$112. Buy, everyone, buy real quick, real fast.
I have to go with myself. It's down now. But earlier today, it set a new all-time high by a margin of $40, and we're proud. We're happy to dance to it and grateful to Keith for the killer bumper. We have just a couple minutes left before we start to wind the show down. And we would love to hear from you. If you've got a crypto question that we can answer for you, something we can clarify, no matter what it is. And if we missed it earlier and you were like, well, what the heck were you going to say? Then now's your time to repost it before we ride our animals, mammals, and best dreams into the sunset. And before we announce the winners of our game tonight, we still have a chance. I do want to let you know that we have a lot of points on the board tonight, including 5 for Ruth, because I thought the pies were worth at least 5 points. Based on the sound of it, and it could be you, my friends. So Hank the Tank asked, where do I go to learn more about, and then left us in suspense. So I would love it if we went around and did a round of what's your best resource to go to learn more about this. And let me just give you a second to think about it by saying, if you're interested in learning more with us, then first you got to check out more episodes of Rise Up After Dark and the Rise Up Morning Show. We're live Monday through Thursday at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time for the morning show. Monday night at 7 p.m. for our newest show. Yes, sorry.
We're trying to be live 24/7. That's the goal. So we're on our way. Okay.
I have another job.
No, not for long.
Not anymore. You know.
I have another job, guys.
I already found Will's actual boss, and I'm just sending him footage of Will dressed as a dolphin and telling him that, did you know that your employee is out here giving financial advice dressed as a
And you
banana?
know what Jim would say? Jim would be like, I don't care. He's selling shit. If he's selling shit as a dolphin, he's a dolphin.
Damn it, Jim.
Talk to me when he's not selling.
But you can catch Will, if not 24/7. You can catch him plenty on the Rise Up Morning Show, and now on Rise Up Market Watch, Monday nights, 7 p.m. Central, and we've got After Dark Wednesdays at 7 p.m. It's a mix of answering your crypto questions, sharing helpful news, bringing our expert guests and friends on to give you their perspective from right here inside the cryptocurrency industry. But we talk about blockchain, we talk about AI, we talk about security, and we have a lot of fun doing it. And the place
crack.
that lives. And yeah, we are not yet sponsored by crack, but
I'm working on it, guys.
My brother Heath would be a big fan of that.
I am a big fan of this.
And if you want to go to the place the show lives 24/7, you got to go to the riseupmorningshow.com to get the link for the Rise Up Discord server. We have got all kinds of resources there, not just the Discord server. We've got classes. We have got coaching. You can get time with us to answer your crypto questions or just hold your hand as you send to your cold wallet for the very first time. We're there for you. And you can even start a free membership trial, 7 days to get all kinds of discounts, all kinds of deeper access. And you, yes, you can be the very best part of our community. We often say it's got everything. All that's missing is you. So check it all out there. You don't have to spend $1 to learn with us and hang out, but it does support the show and keep the lights on and help more people learn. So hopefully that gave you guys enough time to come up with a good resource. If not, I'm sure Will can sing us a song and do a dance. But what you got for us? How about Violet and Will? You guys go first. And Violet, yours doesn't have to be a crypto resource if you don't want it to be, but I feel like you probably got one.
I would say, I mean, like if you're just getting, so I learned about crypto in 2017 off of YouTube. And for me, like some great YouTube channels to add to your repertoire, like Coin Bureau is very good. I don't watch crypto content anymore because I spend so much time making it and being on the show and stuff that I don't watch anything. But Coin Bureau was great. He'd be something I would go back to. Invest Answers on YouTube also has a very good data-driven approach. He's been doing stuff for forever.
That dude's great.
Yeah, he's great. He's a bit of a Solana maxi, but honestly, he backs it up with a bunch of data, and you kind of become a Solana maxi too. And let's see, if you're just beginning, Crypto Lark, I think, is valuable too. I think after a certain amount of time, you might upgrade past him, but I think he's good to start if you're brand new. And
He's like the Keels of crypto, is what you're saying.
the what?
He's a good starter. He's like the
He's
Keels.
the Keels of crypto. Yeah. He's the Keels of crypto. But I do think he's a great place to start out at. And I think you could start at those three and you'd be in a really good spot from a YouTube standpoint. For other resources, what I would suggest is, and I don't know what courses would be great other than, like, we offer some as well, but there are some courses that at this point are a little bit more built out than what we have in terms of what else you could learn. Like, I took a course a long time ago from Ivan on blockchain, another YouTuber, but he's a developer, right? Like, he's a coder guy. And I took the first accreditations I ever got out of school were through Ivan on Tech's blockchain course. And it was teaching me about like how blockchain could be used in different industries, like as a technology, like not crypto, but how could it be used by supply chain and logistics? How could it be used in healthcare? How could it be used in the arts and music and a number of other stuff? And that was very interesting, as well as like taking some courses on coding Solidity on Ethereum too. So I would say go to some of the big like web-based, education courses. I forget the names of them. They're all escaping me, but the big ones. And go and find some stuff about not just crypto, but like blockchain's use in business and how it could actually reshape the world and expand your knowledge past just what coin do I invest in and buy. And there's a bunch of stuff out there, and we'll have more coming out as well for us. But like, that's what I'd suggest.
Beautiful. I need to know if you can make sense of this comment because I don't understand it. It says, Will 1.0 also has a Violet who will become violent if he does not acknowledge her from time to time too. She has a in her hand right now. Is that somebody you know?
Matthew Frederick? No.
Is your friend? I don't know. Will 1.0. Maybe they're talking about DJ Quigs.
I don't know, but I can't wait to see what Will 2.0 looks like.
I mean,
Will 1.1, 1.1 through 1.9.
They were all failures. My greatest invention, Will 2.0. That's what your dad said when he had his second William.
Ethicalish.
Oh, it's Ethicalish. Hello, Ethicalish. It's good to see you. Alex, what about you? Do you have a resource that you would recommend folks trying to learn crypto?
Yeah, absolutely. I have a ton. There's so many. I do think, okay, so rapid fire. I think coinbase.com/learn is the best, like, free crypto collection of tutorials. It's very Duolingo-esque, kind of the way they set it up, meaning that it's just like quick, punchy, good graphics, good aesthetics. It's very nicely organized. It is completely free. It is so free, in fact, that you don't even need to make an account with Coinbase to read it. It's just coinbase.com/learn. I'm still not sponsored by them, but I should be, because holy shit, the number of times I have plugged them is insane. But it's really good, and they keep adding stuff to it. Very good. Most big exchanges do have that. Phantom has a learn section. Kraken's got a learn section. They don't have quite as much stuff. Really good. I am a big fan of just reading like raw information off of the CoinMarketCaps, the CoinGeckos, those types of websites that kind of just aggregate all of the currencies and give you like little profiles. I don't think they're always the best. Like they're not the most well-written things for each of these different currencies. You kind of get like real, very specific, usually written by someone in marketing or BD, and so they're not good. But what you can do is you can take those, you can copy paste them, and you can send them to ChatGPT, and that would be my real best resource, would be training a research assistant inside of one of these LLMs. Perplexity is probably my favorite in terms of like building a research assistant. I have a PDF guide that I will literally just send you for free if you want, that teaches you how to set up the basic prompt structure.
Just
you can have the original one for
the
free.
Premium members like that, dang.
Yeah, right.
Only because I'm rewriting it for them, and they're getting a way bigger, like way more in-depth one that's way more detailed. So V1 is going to go up for free, and then Premium gets V2, which is like 10 times longer and has way more prompts in it.
Longer. Longer, says the guy who likes to read raw data, go to conferences 24/7 and sleeps with his socks on.
Okay, first of all,
Wait,
the
you
socks
sleep
thing
with
is
your
not
socks
that
on?
weird.
Liking conferences is weird. Sleeping with your socks on is psychopathic.
I had
I
to
never-
dox you, man.
To quote Natalie Portman in her first rap on SNL, I never said I was a role model.
Well, it's true.
Evan did guess that one pretty well. I would say it's like 60-40, like socks on, socks off.
I'm totally just picking on you. I just thought I knew it would be divisive.
But no, for real. Honestly, my next best answer is to literally just go to a blockchain explorer. You're going to see a whole bunch of stuff that you can't quite decipher, that you can't really make sense of. But these are all really, really, really good things to like grab chunks of and send to GPT or Perplexity or Claude and just be like, help me make sense of this. I'm trying to understand how to get data from a blockchain explorer for the first time. I don't really know what any of this stuff means. What do you see when you see this? You can send full smart contract code to it and ask it to like identify vulnerabilities and like how can you tell?
Yeah.
It's really, really cool. Like you have the ability to learn all this kind of stuff from these LLMs right now. And it's awesome. It's so cool.
Yeah.
I have a Perplexity like library running all the time. There you go, TikTok. It's on my screen all the time. And I also
now have ChatGPT up on my phone and my computer all the time.
All the time, dude. All the time. It like literally just right now, my usual prompt for Perplexity is just talk to me about, and I'll put a topic of anything, whether it's soul wrapped Bitcoin on marinade staking, like what are my options there? Who's the wrapper? That kind of stuff. It's everything, dude. It's so good. That's the real alpha.
Okay, we do have to just about round things off, but I want to let you know that if you're interested in Alex's guide, if you're interested in picking Will's brain a little more or getting in touch with some of these resources, the best way to do it, wherever you're watching, whenever you're listening right now, is to go to the bio, the profile, where you are hearing us, where you are seeing us, and click the link there. It will take you to the Rise Up Morning Show. And the Rise Up Morning Show will have all of the links to all of our official socials. The best way to get in touch and make sure you get that guide, you get your question answered, is to join the Rise Up Discord server. Again, it's totally free. If you've never joined a Discord server, we even have a cute little tutorial button right below the Join Our Discord button on our website. That'll show you a video how to do it. I promise you can do it. It's the best place to get a question answered, maybe not even by us. The people in there are smart and they are friendly. All that's missing really, truly is you. And that's about what I got for commercials. And I would love to kick it around for final thoughts in just a second because we have a game to play. Actually, you know what? How about this? Let's do final thoughts to give people a chance to win more points because as the points stand.
Wait, I need a point first because I was late. So I get one.
Wow. Okay.
I get one because I'm pretty and because I don't know.
Because you use the correct skincare. Apparently some fancy shit.
I have given you a lot of points today, Alex, but I do want to let folks know that in the standings, we actually have a really close. It's very close. There's a 1 point difference between first and second, and third is a 2 point difference behind. After that, we've got some contenders, so there's still time. And maybe we could do a round of final thoughts, and we can do ladies first, if that's cool with you, Violet. And our guest, if you don't know, is Violet. Find her at ultra_violets with 3 S's on TikTok. And if you didn't write down the links for all of her suggestions, if you didn't write down Air Angel, then get in touch.
Chief Skincare Officer.
Get in touch with me. You can DM me on TikTok. No, I mean, final thoughts is very nice to actually finally get to be on the podcast, talk to you, Evan and Alex. Like, I feel like I know so much about you guys, but haven't actually spent any time talking. And it's good to hear you guys in person, not through a wall. But yeah, I enjoyed being part of the conversation. Everyone was very nice in the comments. I'm glad you're taking my advice on skincare. But yeah, it also makes me feel like I should maybe educate myself a little bit more on crypto, especially since I have this guy.
We're taking your advice
a little bit more than I do. But yeah.
Well, thank you for being here. It's
thank you guys for having me.
And when Kimberly and Christina come back, we hope you'll come back and hang out with them because they're
I would like that.
They're awesome.
That'd be
and
cool.
You're awesome and they would love you. And honestly, after after the three of you get on screen, people are going to be like, the hell do we listen to these guys for? You're going to have to start your own show, and it's immediately going to become more popular than ours. And I'll be saying to Kimberly, I told you, baby. I told you, baby.
That's my big worry, is that they are all so much cooler than we are, that if we show them to the world, that immediately people realize, like, oh, wait a second. There's a better option.
Dude, the thing is they'll just start talking. They'll start talking about things that like more people care about, and then the viewership will just start exploding because they're talking about, just, I don't know, something that matters to women, as opposed to like cryptocurrency, which the audience tends to be very dude centric. Although thankfully we have built a very, very even audience, which is great. But they'll talk about something that like more people care about, and all of a sudden we'll have like a few extra thousand. We'll be like, all right, guys, I think we need to I think we got to transition this whole crypto thing.
See, that's the magic of just not shilling bullshit, because everyone can get behind the idea of being financially free.
Oh yeah.
Right? So
For sure.
but I think that because Violet, I heard you mention that you also crochet.
Yeah.
I showed some of Christina's pictures at the start of the stream just to get her acquainted with her, and we talked about
I
this.
know. I was like, I
And
didn't
she
know.
was like, I
that
make
was
some stuff
okay.
too, and
It's
it's.
pretty cool.
Oh, wait a second. Actually, I
I'm
have.
gonna get some show and tell. I was gonna say, can we get some show and tell?
Sure.
Yeah, I've crocheted a few purses. I've also knit some hats.
Do you find knitting or crocheting to be more fulfilling?
I like crochet
As a-
more personally. Oh,
For people in podcast land, Will just threw. Oh my gosh! Is that a
Dino.
little tiny dino?
little tiny dino.
But she made a purse. She's made you made a hat.
purses. I've made 3 hats. I made purses for my sisters for Christmas. Currently working on a shawl. Yeah, but nothing as cool as that. Like, that's very
Ooh,
intricate.
can I grab your shawl? Because that's cool.
Yeah, it's not done yet though. But you can. It's on my dresser.
Work in progress.
Yeah.
Yeah, those
Nice.
the
I saw
thing that-
the bumblebee hive.
bee-
That was cool.
love the bee. That the Rise Up Morning Show, it's called a tapestry, and I know you have to follow like a really specific pattern for it. I don't know all the details, but I know that it
Okay.
takes a very long time.
I
I
would
grabbed it.
imagine. Like, I was shocked to hear that was crochet.
I grabbed it as is, but I was scared.
Yeah, this is what I'm working on right now.
Oh, that's cool.
That's-
Very sparkly.
Wow.
It's not done yet though.
The lovely
The-
Kimberly is in the comments and sent you guys a tiny gift.
Oh, nice.
Tiny
Perfect.
Diny, so shout out, baby.
The I'll show one thing. It's one of my favorites, but this one, the grand prize at our county fair last year, because Christine entered it and she dethroned all the
Oh
old
yeah, the
ladies.
bumblebee, the beehive. Yeah.
The beehive.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's sick.
it's a beehive, and then you can open it, and
Cute little
all of-
bumblebees.
all of the bees,
Oh,
It's so good.
I like that they all have faces and are different.
and they all come
Oh,
out,
they're so adorable. Oh,
and they all have, like, I mean, the queen, of
queen
course,
bee.
has a
Yeah.
little gold
That's
crown,
cute.
and then there's the tiny little like honey pots that are also in there.
Oh, nice.
Because-
Yeah, that's
But is it
pretty
also an
cool.
NFT?
Yeah, where's the token, dude?
Yeah, where's the token?
I know I only have it's the one of one. I don't have a token, but I wish I did.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, Exit Vela said I smell NFTs, and I think that's a
For real.
new PFP collection, Crochet Buddies.
Well, I was telling her you could put an NFC tag like inside these things, and then they
Oh.
could scan out to stuff, and they could be attached to a tokenized version of it. And that'd be super cool.
Yeah,
100%.
cool.
Will, Alex, do you have other final thoughts before we tally these points? Will, you haven't had a chance to earn a couple points of the final thought.
Brilliant.
Alex, your turn. No, honestly, I don't really have a final thought tonight. I'm just going to tell people it's exciting to go and buy and invest in all these altcoins, but odds are you're going to be better off taking at least the majority of the money you have to invest in putting it into Bitcoin. But your money, do what you will and you want with it. You can definitely make some money in altcoins. Just when you do, sell and take some profits. But a lot of the times, just most people are bad traders and people are good investors if you are investing in things that can last a long time. So, for most people, the only way you really make money and keep the money is investing as opposed to trading. So, and that's fine. It's totally fine. You don't have to feel bad for not trading. It's okay. Because as long as you're making money, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say.
I would compound on Will's answer just to say that if you are interested in more of the altcoins and kind of taking that risk, just understand kind of the best way to familiarize yourself with how that risk works is to learn about venture style investing. I will die on this hill that if you are buying all of the kind of more sketchy altcoins, the new stuff, even if they're not necessarily sketchy, they're just like really fresh and haven't had a chance to prove themselves, you're a mini venture capitalist. And that's fine. There's a huge industry built on venture capital. But they do not go super hard on one thing, put all their money into it, and then wait until it crashes to zero before they refuse to admit defeat on something. They take a lot of swings at the bat and try a whole bunch of different stuff. And that is the way that you have to look at all these altcoins. They are pre-revenue, pre-product startup companies in the most burgeoning field of the tech space. It cannot get riskier than that. So if you are fortunate enough to ever have the opportunity to stand up and leave the table with more money than you sat down with, you should take that. You should learn from Violet, who bought XRP and sold, listen to me, XRP holders. It's possible and you're allowed to take profit on your XRP, okay? When it goes up and you find yourself holding more than you originally did, just know that it's not going to $10,000. And you are well within your right to sell a little bit of it and pay yourself back for having that conviction.
I don't know how to sell this thing.
And if I impart one thing upon you, it's that if you hold XRP, you're allowed to sell some of it and take some profit.
Beautiful.
You're welcome.
Okay, all right. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, Monsters and Machines, Alex, have it pulled up, have my membership list pulled up. And Violet, if I'm feeling charitable, I will ask you to pick a number between 1 and 86. So just think about it, and we'll ask you for it in a minute. No wrong answers. You will be playing for a prize tonight. Yes, you, if you're listening to me. So leave a comment and let us know that you're here if you are watching the show live. And we will tell you in a second who the winner is. But first, I got to tell you that in last place with last place with 2 Gwumps,
Ooh.
M, the US version of TikTok. One
Yeah.
Gwump.
It's very important to say that is all speculation and no official sources have confirmed any of that.
Okay, then I'll do them this favor. I will give them a ding to take off one of their Gwumps, and now they are tied for last place with Banks.
Perfect. That's where they deserve to be.
Yeah, with 1 point each, very respectable. We've got Crack, Solano, our friend on TikTok. We've got YouTube. We've got Amy for buying the bottom of Solano. We've got Invest Answers. We've got Linda. We've got BTC and 2 points, Hadley Stern. We have got 5 points for Kimberly, Christina, and Ruth. Congratulations, ladies. Which means in 4th place. Actually, I didn't even read myself. Do you know how many points I got tonight? I missed myself. I didn't even rank. I got 3 points. I'm gonna give myself an extra point so that I at least.
Yeah, but a Gwump. A Gwump. You lose points for not giving yourself enough points.
You didn't rig the game in your favor. That's an immediate Gwump. You are the points master.
You also didn't give a final thought.
My final thought was where you can learn about this. And I'll say a final thought in a minute. I'll give myself over there. So I've got 5 points. That's okay. All right. Okay. In 3rd place with 11 points, it is Alex. Congratulations. And man, this one really came down to the last minute. In 2nd place with 13 points, it is Will Watson, which means your winner for tonight with 14 points. And the championship is our guest, Violet. She gets to be whatever she wants in the apartment this week or something, and has won a fabulous prize from Warner Brothers. So congratulations, and thank you again for making time to play. Now we need a number from you. So a number 1 to 86 that'll determine for one of our premium members. The very best part of what we do is you. Who's it going to be, Violet? What's the number you choose?
28.
28. Alex, give it a scroll. And in the meantime, I'm going to do a random scroll of the comments, and we are going to give a prize to Robert Steckler. Oh my gosh, wins the prize for the public. Congratulations, Robert. Send me a message, and we'll get your prize. It's well deserved because Robert's been on the board several times. And who is our premium friend who's going to win a prize today?
Today, it's Roy.
Hey, nice.
Ooh, Roy, baby, I am a big fan of this.
I am a big fan of this.
So send us a message. Congratulations. And then let us know in the thoughts, the moments that are left. We're going to ride today in your honor, Will. Our cats, cows, and our dolphins into the...
Well played.
These pests.
Violet just goes, oh God.
We are going to be back tomorrow with more Rise Up Morning Show, 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. If you missed part of the episode, you want to catch it back, or you want to see us on other socials, find all the links to your favorite listening, learning platforms at theriseupmorningshow.com. And again, my friends, thank you for being the very best part of what we do. Everybody, until next time, stay safe, be well. My friends.